Aloha mai kako. Welcome. Weekly Rhythm. Now going into a little bit more of an extended version of it in terms of some of the energies that are happening and what's going on. So one of the things to look at is that things are continuing for some people to fall apart. Now the thing about that is that if we haven't quite gotten to the point where we are now beginning to align with what it is that we're seeking and what it is we desire to find, then what we're going to be encountering is basically a breaking point. Now, this breaking point can go in one of two, and sometimes a mix of both directions. One is a break down, where things in our lives completely fall apart and we feel it inside of ourselves. On the other end is breaking through, where we've encountered the very edges of our own persona, and we are now going to break through that to be able to move into something new. And the thing about that is it is very renewing. That means that all of a sudden we're becoming much more aware of some of the things that we've established in our lives, not just the boundaries of life itself, also our own perception of it as well. I kind of think of this as sort of going on an adventure on a canoe ride, right? Here in Hawaii, we have these big, large outrigger canoes, and to get one of these canoes into the water takes a good amount of people. I mean, 15, 20 people to make it an easy transition. Yet once it's loaded into the water, then we have a crew of 6. And so you can kind of think of this as our collective. This is the people who are going to really help and support us in what's called our legacy and our legacy work, our very purpose for being. Now, as we each and every one of us settle into one of these seats or areas of expertise, that's AKA our genius, then what inevitably happens is we start to move forward in a direction. Now, with this direction, it can happen in a number of different ways. One of the things that can happen in the boat is that it can seem, if it's not necessarily the right mix of people, then it can seem really heavy, like the boat itself drags. However, when you have the right arrangement, synergy, team that has come together, then all of a sudden things just glide. And we're working on that. We're working on not just one, the decision to paddle, which is where this breakthrough comes into play, is a reckoning of sorts, a decision that we now are being presented with, an invitation to consider. When we move into that, then it takes a good amount of energy and support to do so. And that support and energy doesn't have to be just us. And a lot of what we experience in life has been, very much specific to me. And so as we go through this process, then break down, break through, this is the reckoning stage of our awakening process, then we have an opportunity. Now, as we choose in, though, sometimes it can seem a little overwhelming, uncertainty, maybe, not really quite sure in terms of how to do it. And these are all little areas of nuance. We don't necessarily need to know all of that as much as we are really just choosing into it. Now, when we choose into it, then we create a platform, a vehicle, in this case, the canoe. And that canoe it can be a career, it can be a different way of being. However it transpires, though, is going to require not just us to be involved, it's also going to require others to share in that responsibility as well. Now, all loaded into the boat, moving in that direction, inevitably, the thing about canoe paddling is we want to be able to to correct course as we go. However, we need to be moving in a direction to be able to see and to continue to adjust and alter direction. So get things started. Again, as we talked about last week, that concept of radical action, whatever it is that we are really intending, as crazy and as wild as it may seem, do that. At the very least, go in that direction. Because as we begin to really orient in this way, we are going to find all kinds of cool things happening. New people coming into our lives, and this changing of sorts of the social environment, the people that we surround ourselves by, is ultimately going to be a good thing that helps to serve not just you as it does me. It helps to open up the capacity to fulfill our sacred work, our personal genius, and this concept of a collective field of intelligence. That's it for now, though. Love and aloha. Take care. And ahui ho.